You ain't never seen a mob like that.
What do you think they got out of it? Why did they do it?
Motive, I guess, satisfaction is all I can figure. See, I don't know what it was.
Satisfaction.
I reckon that was it.
This is a clip from a 60 Minutes report that aired on December 11th, 1983, hosted by Ed Bradley. It's one of the first times the story of the Rosewood massacre was ever brought to a national audience. In this clip, Fred Kirkland talks about what he saw as the mob grew into the thousands at Rosewood. He was a teenager when he watched the mob massacre the black residents of the town. With law enforcement gone, there was nothing standing between that mob and the people of Rosewood.
They went wild. There was 1,050, 100 people there by that time. They were coming in from every direction. And they was crazy. They give the high sheriff and the deputy 5 minutes to get out of sight and not come back.
They told the sheriff and the deputy to get out of town and not come back?
Get out of there. Give them 5 minutes to get out of sight.
And what did the sheriff and the deputy do?
They left there. And then they went to burning houses, killing people, you never seen.
Yeah, Sunday morning they came through here, setting houses on fire, and as each one ran out, they'd shoot them, kill them. And there was a colored woman right here, lived just across here in the woods from me, and her name was Lexi Gordon, and she was sick. She had typhoid fever, and when she told the ones that was staying there with her for them to go ahead and get away if they could, well, she'd just take whatever come. Well, naturally, when they set the house on fire, she ran out towards the back, and she had a back door, Johnny, out there, and so she made for it, and they shot her before she got there.
But she had nothing to
do with it at all, whatever. And, it was the way with a lot of them, you see. That was the reason it was such a situation that we just couldn't understand. It was just a mad bunch of men come in here.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. It reads, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Yeah? Shalom, shalom, shalom. Your brother Kahan from the GMS, Prophetic Vibration Campaign Trinidad, with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Alright, so first and foremost, we say, Kal Halayam La Allah Hayanawa Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakaha Kodash. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great millstone, a true well salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, which is the sisters. Alright, we say shalom. This is another installment of Let Them See Their Crimes Against Us. Alright, let them see their crimes against us, and this is what we ought to do. This is what we ought to do. Continue to show it, continue to speak about it. Alright, and let them see it. Let them actually see what they have been doing to us. Alright, the history that they tries to hide and what have you, so forth, of their atrocities. Alright, these is things that we must do our utmost best to fight, spiritually, in the sense of, exposing them, and filtering it through the scriptures. Alright, filtering it out through the scriptures. Alright, this is what it is here. These people ought to be exposed. As the Lord said, he will expose Esau. Alright? He will expose them. And they are being exposed. Alright? Not just the upper echelons, which is the elites and whatnot, so, but also the average everyday Edomite. Alright? Because you all when we speak of the wickedness, the atrocious acts that you all have done unto us, you all tend to try to come with a statement of we didn't own no slave and whatnot, so forth, this, that. But it goes beyond. This is the thing, it goes beyond slavery. Alright? Because, alright, if you want to come with an argument that, not all so-called white people had slaves and whatnot, so forth, and this and that and the other. But what about the Jim Crow era? Alright? What about the Jim Crow era and the atrocities that was being carried out upon us during the Jim Crow era? Alright? The mass lynchings, the mass massacres. You know something? Bear with me. Bear with me. Let's see this here. How many recorded that's not how to spell that again? A-C-R-E, I think, yeah. How many recorded massacres of the how many massacres? How many? I wanna type this properly. How many recorded massacres took place against the Negroes in America? Alright, it says there is no single definitive number. They know. Don't get it twisted. They know. They have those shit recorded. It's just they wouldn't bring it out for the public. But there's hundreds over the years that took place. Alright, it says there is no single definitive number for the total of recorded massacres of black people in American history, largely because many incidents were either unrecorded at the time, alright, teamed race riots rather than massacres, alright, or intentionally suppressed. Alright, I will believe that one. Whether intentionally suppress, the recordings and what have you, so for the truth of, these massacres that are taken over the time. It says, however, historical research has documented dozens of major large-scale massacres and thousands of individual racial terror lynchings. Alright? Racial terror lynchings from 1877 to 1950. There's the Jim Crow era. A 27th study by the Equal Justice Initiative identified 4,080 black men, women, and children lynched in 12 southern states, with another 300 taking place in other states. Alright? Alright, so as I see, they have other one or two, you know. Look, there's a list here. Look at there's a couple lists here. The Memphis Massacre, 1866. New Orleans Massacre, 1866 also. Colfax Massacre, 1873. Wilmington Massacre, 1898. Atlanta Massacre, 1906. Slocum Massacre, 1910. East St. Louis Massacre. And if you notice, this is basically southern states, mainly southern states, predominantly southern states. All right, Elaine Massacre, 1919. Tulsa Race Massacre, 1912. Rosewood Massacre, 1923. Move bombing, all right, 1985. All right, and the list goes on and on and on. All right, can't forget also you can't forget also the Devil's Punch Bowl. Alright, that is the next one you can't forget, the Devil's Punch Bowl. Alright, and that is just the Southern Kingdom. Alright, we didn't talk about the Northern Kingdom. Alright, which is the so-called Seminole Indians and you know the so-called Seminole Indians and you know, other Native American Indians and whatnot, so forth. All right. These massacres that they had done, all right, upon the children of Israel. You know, there is what it is here, and a lot of these massacres wasn't carried out and orchestrated and whatnot, so forth by the elites. These massacres was done by everyday average Joe Edomite. All right, you Billy Bob. This is where it is here. This, and this is why they have to pay. All right, this is why they have to pay. This is why they will pay. All right. Because, hey, as the scriptures say, let's go to Isaiah 47 and 6 or something, or verse 7, I believe. I think it's verse 6, you know. Yeah, Isaiah 47 and 6, where it reads, all right, I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand, and thou didst show them what? Show them no mercy upon the ancient, as thou very heavily laid the yoke. All right? Which goes into slavery. But the thing about it is, this will go just with Ezekiel 35. And I think it's verse 4, you know. Ezekiel 35 and 5, actually. Where it reads, because thou hast had Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, which was, you know, after slavery, they still continued that hatred. All right, that perpetual hatred. All right, this is what it is here. That perpetual hatred that they have against Jacob. All right, and the continual persecution, continual atrocious acts, and what have you, so forth. All these things, all right, that they have been doing to us. You know, like if there is no end in sight. You know. But the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has something in store for them, you know, and their judgment is going to supersede the judgment that the Lord put upon us by their hands. All right, because basically they are the Lord's sword, pursuant to I think it's Psalm 17 and 3. I know it's Psalm 17, but I can't remember the exact verse. I think it's Is it 3 or 13, boy? No. Actually, yeah, it's 13, but I could start from 10. Psalm 17 and 10, it reads, they are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak what? They speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it will a young lion lurking in the secret places. This is this explains the persecution, you know, and the persecution that they've been bringing down upon us. You know, this explains how they see us, their hatred, all right, and in their eyes, you know, when they look upon us, is only to bring harm, all right, harm, grievous bodily harm, death, all right. This is what it is here, okay. It says, arise, O Lord, and disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. Who is the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man, the Caucasians, which is thy sword. From men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. You understand? They rob, they kill, they steal, all right, and gather the riches and whatnot, so forth. And when they pass on, you know, they leave it all for their offspring, all right. And the cycle just continues. The cycle of oppression and what have you, so forth. It just continues. But what the Lord said, pursuant to Job, I think it's Job 24. The scripture just come to my head there. Or Job 27, but I think it's Job 27, not 24, 27 and 14. Let me see, Job 27 and 14. Yes, this is it here. Job 27, and I will start at 13, where it reads, this is the portion of a wicked man. All right, this is the portion of a wicked man with Yahweh, and his heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. Yeah? If his children be multiplied, all right? If his children be multiplied, it is what? It is for the sword. And of his offspring shall not, right? And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. So the Lord is going to do what? The Lord is going to literally strip them of everything. All right? Even the lower level Edomites, you know, that is filled with pride, you know, and white supremacy and what have you, so forth. That also is going to be stripped. Is literally going to be stripped in its entirety away from them. There is what it is. All right, it says, those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. All right, though he heap up silver as dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, which is the elect, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as a motte, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. All right. This is what it is. When I go down, I will go down. I will continue. It says, the rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eye, and he is not. All right. Terrors shall take hold on him as waters, a tempest, Salakia, stealeth him away in the night. The east wind carrieth him away, which goes into the nuclear missiles, the warheads, and he departed, and as a stone hurleth him out of his place. All right, and this is going to take place. This is going to take place with all Esau, Edom. All right, with all Esau Edom. From the elites go down to the everyday average Joe. All right, because hey, just as the elites funded the slave trade and whatnot, so forth, and carried out the slave trade and whatnot, you know, the lower level Edomites, they orchestrated the massacres, they orchestrated the lynchings. All right, the term picnic came from them. All right, where they would what they would go about and pick a nigger and carry him in the village square, you know, tie him up to the tallest tree, tallest branch, and hang him, lynch him. All right, in front of a whole crowd, in front of a crowd of what, 20, 2,000, 3,000 people, whatnot, so forth. You know, all cheering and mocking and etching on. All right. Hey, I'm out of fuck. Let me see if I can get something here. Let me see if we can get something here. Photos of lynching. Let's see. Watch that, man. This is their legacy, man. This is their legacy. Alright? This is their legacy. And you watch these, you watch them here. Alright? A lot of them there is what? Is who is teachers. Alright? Firemen, policemen. You know? Mechanics. Your neighborhood mechanic. Your neighborhood plumber. Alright? What have you, so forth. Alright? Watch that. Big crowd, man. Big crowd, big crowd, big crowd, big crowd. Alright? Huge crowd, massive crowd. Watch it. Massive crowd turn up. Alright? Massive crowd turn up to witness lynching, man. To witness Jake being persecuted. Watch that. Watch what they've been doing to Jake, man. This is what they've been doing to Jake. And they know this. They know this. Yeah, let them see their crimes. Let them see their crimes, man. You understand? Let them see their crimes. This is what they've been doing. Alright? And now they're trying to hide this kind of history. You know, talking about critical race theory and all of this stuff. Trying to get it out of the school, take it away from teaching it in the schools and what have you, so forth, and taking it out of the libraries and the museum and whatnot. That's why the scripture says what? Habakkuk 2, I think it's 16. Habakkuk 2 and 16, where it reads, "Thou art filled with shame for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered," man. "The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." Alright? Because back then they used to gloat themselves, man. Back then they used to gloat themselves. Now, the world is seeing them for who they are. Alright? The world is seeing, you know, what their true nature. Alright? And they are being called out for it. So what? You know, all what they had glorified themselves upon and what have you, so forth, you know, and how they have gotten all their riches and whatnot, so forth. It's bringing shame onto them because, you know, the world is seeing it for what it is. Alright, so it's bringing a high level of shame upon them. So, you know, they have no choice, you know, but to try to suppress, do their best to suppress. But you can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth. That's the whole thing about it. That's the whole thing about it. You understand? You could do what you want to try to suppress the truth. The truth will always come out. It will always surface to the top. Yeah, the world had to see. The world have to see. The world have to see all what you have been doing to us. And still doing to us to this day. Yeah? The world has to see. And then they will convince the world. With all this, they manage to convince the world, you know, that the so-called black man, you know, the Negroes, all right, is the worst thing out upon the face of the earth. Here it is, you massacred. You went through the four corners of the earth, rape, robbing, killing, stealing, pillaging, all right, murder, all right, enslave a whole entire nation, all right, particular people. That's why the scriptures say in Daniel 9, and I think I could start from 10 or 11. Let me see. I will start at 11, Daniel 9 and 11, where it reads, Ye all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven hath not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. This is a perfect example. All right? The East Indians didn't go through this. The Chinese didn't go through this. The Japanese didn't go through this. All right? The Africans, the Hamites, they didn't go through this. The Ishmaelites, they didn't go through this. When you take a look around, you know, with Jake and their talents and whatnot, so forth, you know, the world is one to emulate Jake, you know, the world is one to, you know, the world is one to take pattern from Jake, you know, with Jake culture, you know, the dancing, the music, the athletic prowess that we have and whatnot, so forth, you know, the talent, yeah. But ask them if they would, if just as they would envy Jake for all of that, you know, these stuff, you know. Ask them if they're willing to go through what we as a people went through, such as slavery and Jim Crow, redlining, and all these atrocious stuff that was carried out upon us. Hey, they refuse. They don't want that. All right, they don't want that. They don't want to be up. They don't want to be on the receiving end of that. But there's the thing. This is what we went through. No other nation has endured such a traumatic experience as us. No other nation. All right? No other nation has went through such a traumatic experience as we went through. So this just goes to show who are the children of Israel. Alright? And there's a judgment to pay. That is going to be exacted. Yeah? As the scripture say, Nahum 1 and 3, let me get that. Nahum 1 and 3, to start from 2. Nahum 1 and 2, Yahweh is jealous and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will take vengeance on his adversaries. As he reserveth wrath for his enemies, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Alright? So they're going to face their judgment. He will not at all acquit the wicked. They're not going to, The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and in the clouds, and in the dust of his feet. And the clouds are the dust of his feet, Salakia. Alright? They're going to receive that judgment. That's why the scripture said, let me see if I could type in that. Come out of that. Come from where the hell? The land. Yep. Yeah. Flee from. Alright, so Zechariah 2 and 6. Let's take a look at that, man. Zechariah 2 and 6. As it reads, look, alright, Zechariah 2 and 6. Who come forth and flee from the land of the north, say the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, say the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. Alright? So, who is the daughter of Babylon? Esau, Edom. Alright? As the scripture said. Alright? And the Lord is going to bring deliverance for us. Alright? That land of the north is what? America. Alright? America. Babylon the Great. And the Lord is going to bring that deliverance for us. We're going to see that deliverance. We're going to receive that deliverance, providing that we are part of the elect. You understand? There is what it is here. Alright, I will end off with this last scripture, which is Baruch. Alright, Baruch 4. I think I can start from 25, I believe. Yeah, Baruch 4, and I will start at 25. I'm going to go all up, but I will start from 25. It reads, My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from Yahweh. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee. Alright? For thine enemy hath persecuted thee. But shortly thou shalt see his destruction. We're going to see the destruction of Esau, Edom. We're going to see the destruction of America. Alright? We're going to see that destruction upon the oppressor, and shall tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemy. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahweh, for you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For it was your mind to go astray from Yahweh, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that give thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation, man. For I will take away the rejoicing of her greed, of a great multitude. Alright? And her pride shall be turned into mourning, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from Yahweh. Lo, thy sons come from whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai power. Alright, so yeah, they're going to get their judgment. Alright? They're going to get their judgment. They're going to receive the ultimate that no other nation is going to receive but them alone. Yeah? Which is annihilation, eradication, and extermination. Yeah? Extermination. This is what it is. I hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Alright? Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp signing out. Saying Kal Halayam La Alahaya Nawa Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Ba'asham Rakah Kodash. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great millstone that rule well. Salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth through all the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, their brother Kahan, signing out, saying shalom to the hope for the elect man. Wa bad babal unto Esau, Edom, and America.